It's Triple Crown here, Saturday, June 8th, 2024. Time for day 2 of the Midwest Monster. I was in the building bright and early. How early, you may ask? Well, the lights in the building hadn't even fully been turned on yet. But I was in there, set up, ready to go. Made a lot of deals to fellow dealers who decided to do a quick little lap before going to their tables to set up for the day. And that kick-started my show quite a bit for at least the Saturday portion. Today was much stronger in terms of sales, trades, and purchases, really all across the board. All I could have asked for in a show. Lots to talk about, lots to show. Let's get right into it with one of my sales that I thought was interesting for a reason that I talk about on the channel a lot, but I can finally show you what I mean in action. 95 is fine here. I'd like 85 on this one, so it would be 180.
Nobody knows what that thing is, but they have. I think I just saw the out of 25 at 110.
For the Miggy?
I'll show you what this is. It's the one that I saw.
I'd still be at. When was that one?
Just the last one.
Okay, I mean that's almost a year ago now, so I'd be. Yeah.
I just don't know if he's come up much.
Here is the sale that he's referencing, that he's showing me here in this video. And again, I don't show this to be disrespectful or anything, but I want to show you how I view this. This sale to me is not very relevant. I'm going to take this into consideration, but let's really look at the context of things here. This is an auction ran during the National with a guy who has 43 feedback on eBay for a different parallel of this card, and this was over 10 months ago. About a year ago, we're going off of this sale, and the thing is that this isn't even the last sale. In fact, let me jump over to that sale right now and show you what that was. Here's the actual last sale of my card. It's a PSA 9. Mine was a raw copy, but it sold for $225. Now, do I think that this is a realistic price for mine? No, not really. I know the Miguel Cabrera market pretty well, and this to me is not a card that is worth $200, which is why I didn't price it like that. I priced it at $100 because that is what I would consider to be reasonable for Miguel Cabrera autograph. That's what I was used to paying for him back in the day, and that's what I sell most of the ones I get that are numbered around this range from this type of product now. But you'll notice that this particular sale didn't come up in the conversation. It was that low sale that we could find from almost a year ago. Again, no disrespect when I say this, but this was a recurring theme throughout the show and also at the trade night where I had guys telling me what the last sale was, and I would ask them point blank, what was the one before that, or what were the last few before that? I'd ask them to take an average, and once they calculated the average, they would see that my price was pretty fair. But that's the thing, is that oftentimes when someone tells me, oh, well, this is what the last sale was, that sale doesn't always paint an accurate picture for one way or another. You see right here, this is the last sale here. I don't think that I'd be able to get anywhere close to even $200 on this card. It sold for $225, meaning that the last sale, you're not guaranteed to get that price again. And it may also be the other way around where it is such a good deal that you may never find one at that price again because, hey, sometimes people get steals on eBay. All cards are not always available at the last sale. A mini rant here. I wanted to just point this out. I have more that I could say on this topic, and I will in a future video, but this was definitely a recurring theme that I noticed throughout the show. Again, no disrespect, just my thoughts on this.
I'll take the Tatum, but I'd probably want to be at 80 there.
Okay. I'll split the difference with you at 80. That's fine.
So 175.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate the deal.
Yep.
Do you have change?
I do.
Thanks for the easy deal.
Absolutely. There you are.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
You as well. It's a 400 on your Giannis.
I couldn't do that. I'd do 450.
How much on the Amon Ra?
2,400.
Thank you.
Yep. Touch on this Garrett Wilson. Is that what you're asking for on the back 300?
That's kind of a swag at value. I've got some room on that.
Okay, let's take a look at it. For context, I'm being asked here if I want to make a trade on my Sam Laporta RPA. I'm taking a look at this gentleman's Garrett Wilson that he brought to the table. Really cool part of the New York part of the jersey there. There's actually another patch that's similar to this one with the EU in new. This one is the YO of York, as you can see. And I'll take that sale into consideration, but really I have to trust my gut on this one. What would someone realistically pay for a card like this? To me, it's around 125, perhaps on the higher end it could fetch 150, but this card would be a good, what I would call a showcase magnet. It's certainly a patch that catches your attention and makes people stop and look at that. And sometimes I will buy really cool cards, especially of lower end guys, where I can just put them in the case and maybe it will grab someone's attention. That's really what a lot of the value comes down to in the card. Obviously, Garrett Wilson is no scrub. I would never say that about one of my fellow Buckeyes, but it is something I do take into consideration when I see something that's a little bit cooler or more unique than your standard patch card. Add like 30 cash with the Laporta for it.
I might hang on to that.
All right, yeah, no worries.
Could you get to 75 on that one?
I'd have to be at 80 on it. Yeah.
I can do 80.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Yep. No trade this time around. He ends up just buying the Laporta outright, but that Garrett Wilson patch was pretty cool. Let's do a little buying, shall we? Now, I get asked sometimes, what percentage do you pay on things? It's a bit of a loaded question because I have, I guess, a general idea of what I want to pay on something and have a percentage margin on something, but really it's going to vary card by card. The way that I more so look at it is, what am I going to pay for it? What am I going to put it out at? And what can I expect to take for it? And that's what's going through my mind. With this LE card here, I see a lot of sales right around 100. I think that I can purchase it at like 90, put 105 on it, and take 100. Not a huge gain by any means, but that seems like something that I think would convey, and that's usually how I approach most of the things that I purchase. And I'll just kind of show you that in action here.
So are you at value and then doing a percentage off of that?
I'm telling you what I would pay for it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but that works for you.
Yep, that's perfect. That one has to be firm one, just because of who it is.
All right,
and what it is.
I will pass on that one though.
Yep.
Here's what I see on this one. I'll be closer to 45 on it.
Meet me at 50.
That's fine. I do 75 on this one.
That works.
I'm paying a little stronger on this Richardson because I know, based on the demand and how much he's been asked for at this show alone already, I can probably sell this immediately if I put it right back out of the case. And in fact, I did. I sold it exactly for what I was trying to get out of it, 85. I do 40 on this one.
That works. I knew that one was coming. That one fluctuates all over.
I'm a little surprised of how much it moves around.
I started doing that myself because watching your videos.
Oh, thank you.
Makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, I'll forget, like, I can't even, I think I said 90 on that, but I'm not even 100% sure. And it was 5 minutes ago.
Yeah,
so,
hey, I feel it.
Do like 135 on this one.
I'll have to hold it. I'm in too much on that one. I kind of figured that would happen, like, when I bought it, but that's just the risk of it.
I'll do 240 on this one. This is what I'm seeing on it. This one at 250. This is the out of 25 version. That's the one that sells the most.
Okay, let me see this one.
Yeah, no worries. I'll keep
Just
working on
because
these.
I did see a sale when I looked this one up. I saw one for $396. So let me see if I can find it.
This one would be about $100.
Maybe at 130 on that.
On this one, I couldn't do that, sorry. I did not end up buying any of the Anthony Richardson autographs here. We were a little bit too far apart. In hindsight, what I probably would have had more success doing differently is trying to offer one big price for the whole stack of what I was interested in, rather than going individual card by card. I feel like if I gave a number for all 3 of the Richardsons at once, it might have presented it in a way where I could have acquired all of them, but then I don't know if he would have had regrets about it. So it's probably best that it worked out that way, but that won't stop me from getting the cards that I've already pulled aside and hopefully land these 2 autographs here at the bottom of the stack.
Do like 120 on that guy.
140.
120 be my best.
Oh,
yeah, no worries.
Sorry.
You're
Some
good.
of these I'm just.
This one I do like $5 on. I think it's like maybe like $10. That's what I usually do. So
I'll probably have to load off too.
yeah, so no worries there. Okay, so
so that came out to 250 on the dot.
love it. Nice even number.
Yep.
Okay, 340 with Elliot.
Yeah, I know, because that's literally going for like $100. That works.
Like this.
Yep.
Nice little stack there to help replenish the cases, and as a matter of fact, some of those cards actually already sold before they even made it back with me. I did sell the Richardson, as I mentioned earlier. I did end up moving that Ellie De La Cruz home field advantage as well. That card was immediately popular as soon as it was put in the case. Someone paid me $100 for it. Had a feeling that might happen. So overall, very pleased with this deal.
Well, that's a weird one.
Yeah, I'm flexible on it obviously because there's not as you'll see, there's a lot of times where it sells and then it also appears that it doesn't sell at the same time. Like if you scroll down on like the alts thing, I assume you're using alt.
Yeah.
You'll see that there's like
It fluctuates crazy.
but there was like a period where like half of them were relisted and half of them didn't sell. Like
You said you're asking 25 or 15?
24.
2,400?
Yeah.
Sweet.
This was my biggest deal of the show. A lot to unpack here. I'll show you what happens and let it play out before I give my thoughts on it.
Okay.
I don't know if you have room from there. I don't want to offer if you're rated a little bit too high.
I'm willing to listen to an offer. I mean, the worst I can always say is no.
For 560, it was the last sale.
Okay.
For 500.
Are you wanting the Stroud with it? Or
No, the Richardson also.
Oh, the Richardson. Okay. Are you interested in the Stroud at all? Or are you?
The only hard part is because of that last sale, I'm gonna have to explain to people, and I hate doing that.
Oh, are you like a repacker or something?
No.
Oh, okay.
But even them, the repackers will do that too. But
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
the repackers aren't actually—they're not even buying Stroud right now over there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're not buying Stroud. They're not buying Stroud, basketball, or BGS, which is very weird.
Okay. It's interesting. Like, I'll listen to an offer on that if you've got one. It just kind of depends. Like, I'm not married to it at 22. I understand what the last one did.
Scan it one more time. Last 9 did 995. So 2 left is 19. Yeah, I'll make an offer.
Sounds good.
Did you get to 2260 on the 3?
Let me look at this and see if that works. I would do 24.
You said how much? Sorry?
24,
What did I offer you?
22, or 22.50, one of the two. I'll be fully transparent with you. This is what I am into them at. There's one more card that I bought with this one. If I got the number that I assumed that I would get on that one, then that's what I would be into it at. So.
My highest offer was going to be 23.
You want to split the difference at 23.50? Includes the slab bag too, and $20 value on slab bag. So.
23.50 with this.
I couldn't do that. Like, this is 23.50 would be me breaking even on this. So that's kind of where I want to be.
The next few minutes are going to be us talking about payment methods. He wants to do partial cash, partial Venmo. I tell him that's fine, and we're figuring out how much cash he's going to need, how much Venmo he's going to need. But the point of all that is we make the deal at $23.50. And you may ask, why did I choose to break even on those 3 cards? I mean, there's a Justin Jefferson auto, a Stroud checkerboard, and then this Richardson slab here. Really, how much room could you give someone on those types of cards? Because those are 3 of the more in-demand cards in the hobby. Well, here was my thinking on it. The Stroud was a card that after last weekend, I figured that I would be able to move it no problem at this show. And really on day 1, I had 0 interest in it. I don't think I had a single person who asked me to take it out of the case. I don't think I had anybody who even mentioned it to me. But because of that, I started to get some feelers on it. I brought it to trade night, and a lot of the guys there were a little hesitant on it too. And I found out that a lot of people were hesitant on the card because the pop is high on it. I believe it's like a pop 65 or something, which if you compare, say, the Joe Burrow checkerboard, if I'm not mistaken, it's in the 20s. To have 3 times as many, Lord only knows what the print run truly is on those. That's always the difficulty with those non-numbered cards. You don't really know how many of them are actually out there. Because of that, and because of hearing what he said about the repackers not really buying him, and that has been my experience at this point in time, I decided that with this being my last big show pretty much before the National, I needed to move it at this point. I needed to just take my money and put it back into something else. That's a card where I don't mind breaking even. I tried, I gave it a shot. Not every single time is it going to be a winner, but I'd rather just hedge my bet now rather than risk potentially taking a loss on it. I know that comes at the cost of moving 2 cards I really thought that I'd be able to do something with on the Jefferson and the Richardson, but I would rather have the cash at this point. There's plenty more that I could do with that than just sitting on those cards. That's why I did what I did here. It was a tough decision to make, but he was pretty friendly, very easy to work with, and decided to shake hands with me at $23.50. Definitely a huge boost to my sales number for the day there. And now I can do a little bit more shopping, and that's exactly what I'm going to do here to close out the video. Alright, it turns out I was going a little too fast for my own good and did not record 2 of the clips I wanted to include. That's alright, we'll stick to some old school narration, and then I'll close this out with some final thoughts. But my Giannis Prism here, I ended up trading with $300 cash for that 6-pack of cards you see at the top of your screen. Bets downtown, couple 5-star autos, Marvin Harrison Jr. auto. If every lot of cards that I purchased looked like that, I would be a very happy man, because those are some of my favorite types of cards from some of my favorite sets and some of my favorite players involved there. Can't really ask for much more on that. I made a purchase as well for a stack of what was largely football slabs, the headliner being an Anthony Richardson Prism Purple at a 125 PSA 10. That card moved so quickly that I didn't even have a chance to snap a picture of it. I told you earlier on, if I got a Richardson, I was going to put it back out. I'd make it a competitive price, and I figured it would sell at that same show. Little did I know that I would put that out at $700. Within about 15 minutes or so, someone came up and we agreed upon $650. Ended up moving that really in the blink of an eye, it felt like. A lot of things kind of started moving fast-paced towards certain parts of the show, but then at other times it felt like it kind of dragged. It was all over the place on Saturday, but the final result was $7,700 in sales. To me, I was pretty pleased with that, especially because the margins were a lot better than I had gotten in some of the previous weeks. When I went home and put all my data from the weekend into my spreadsheets, I could kind of look back on it and nod in approval, saying, you know what, I'm happy with how I was able to do here. And I hope that the people who bought these cards from me are happy with them as well for whatever purpose they may have purchased them for. Overall, it was a big success of a show, and I had put a lot of work, time, and effort to get to this point for this show, and it felt like it was something that I could end on a high note. That being said, though, I did feel pretty exhausted at the end. Justin and I were pretty much ready to go. I think I took my camera off around 3 o'clock. We left around 4 on Saturday, went and got lunch/dinner at Portillo's, because they don't have those in my neck of the woods. I love me some Portillo's. And then decided to take it on back to Cincinnati. But the constant going back and forth on prices and getting beat down on your prices, I gotta say, it does wear on you at times. A lot of people had reached out to me privately after the day one video and said I couldn't imagine, you know, dealing with some of that. Or even in the comments section, people were, you know, kind of saying wow at some of the things. And quite frankly, what you saw in the video is only a fraction of what actually happened. There was a lot of times where people were going, come on, man, work with me. Give me some room here. I need to have some room on this. And it felt like that was happening more often than not. The best thing to do, for me at least, is to just say no thank you, or say yes, that's fine, depending on if it's fine or not. I'm not going to bend or break because someone needs room on something. It's me who's the dealer. I'm set up at the show. I paid to set up at the show, put a lot of time and effort to getting the cards, and I'm going to get what I want for them. You know, if you buy multiple things, I'll work with you as much as I possibly can, but at the end of the day, I got to make sure that I'm happy with the end result on my end. But that's going to wrap it up. I wanted to just get my final thoughts on it. I felt like I said the show was a success, and it was a good way to kind of close this chapter while I open the next one, which is going to be my road to the National here in Cleveland. It is a matter of weeks away, not even months at this point. It is counted in weeks. Absolutely cannot wait for it. I have plenty of vlogs coming up in the meantime. I will have plenty of content leading up to the National, so don't worry. Still lots to hear from me before then. But until then, hopefully you enjoyed these 2 vlogs from the Midwest Monster. I'll see you real soon with some more content. Take care, stay safe, and be kind.